All right, welcome back everybody to Nathan's Car Fixes on this hot September day. Got up to 91 degrees today, and I am thankful for some shade. This feels good, and we got a nice breeze out here. All right, today I want to go ahead and talk to you about lower ball joints. Kind of hard to diagnose these. Sometimes hard to determine if it's the outer tie rod end, inner tie rod end, or it's actually the lower ball joint. Now, the old cars used to have upper ball joints. This vehicle does not. It has a lower ball joint. And it really depends on the vehicle, so sometimes you may have to check the upper ball joint, which is usually pretty easy to do. But on this vehicle, we're going to do the lower because it's pretty important. And that seems like we're all aware it does happen. The problem is with the newer cars nowadays, they don't have grease fittings. They have just, they're made from the factory and they wear out a lot faster, especially if the boot gets torn. Water gets in there, water gets in the grease, dirt, and they just don't last that long. So sometimes be a slow death on these lower ball joints. You can drive quite a while and it just gets worse over time, the shaking in the steering wheel and the noises. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to check the lower ball joints. Now, one thing you will need before you start is a block of wood and a pipe. This pipe's about 3 to 4 feet long. It makes it easier, and I got a hammer and I have a pretty long pry bar just to be able to get in there. And of course, I got my jack. Their patent number still on. It's a pretty old jack, an old antique jack. Got my emergency brake on, so I'm pretty safe here, and it's level. Now, if you have two guys, the first thing you can do right off the bat is take a bar and stick under this wheel like this, and just kind of pry up on it like this. Just pull up on it as hard as you can, and see, not so much see, but hear. See if you hear anything. Now, the second guy can get under here, and the ball joint is actually right about there. And if he can watch that control arm on that ball joint, if it moves around, that's one way you can tell that you might have a bad ball joint. But most of the time, if you're by yourself, you can't do that. You basically have to take the tire off. And one other thing you can do before you take the tire off and you have the pipe down there, we'll set the camera down. You can take both hands on the wheel, shake it like this also, and see if it moves. And it's pretty tight. Basically, the top and the bottom. So if you can do that, you hear no noise, then usually you're off to a pretty good start. So now the next thing I need to do is put this pipe off to the side and go ahead and pop these wheels, these lug nuts off the wheels here real quick. And we'll go ahead and check the inside of this wheel where the ball joint is. I'm going to try to make this one long continuous video, so it'll make it a lot easier for me to edit and to get up on YouTube. And there's that. Of course, I'll have to stand up here and kick the wheel like normally I have to do. And let's see if the camera's still in focus. I believe so. Okay, so let me kick the wheel, and now the wheel is pretty much off. Alright, we'll just kind of set that off to the side. Alright, now, here's where the fun is. Well, I shouldn't say fun, but a little work. Alright, once you get the wheel off, you get down here and find the ball joint. But one good thing you can do that would probably help is go ahead and turn the wheel a little bit. Let me start the car up. The reason I say that is you can actually see the ball joint once the wheel is turned. Now, let's see. The focus, got enough light. Right, there's the ball joint, and there is the plastic boot. It is torn, so it could be getting bad. It could be getting dirt and water in there, which will shorten the life of it. The bottom of it, as you see, where my finger is, has no grease fitting whatsoever. So this is a factory ball joint. And we'll test it here and see if it's good. So what you want to do first is grab your pry bar and stick it right about there. And kind of what we're doing, we're pushing that lower control arm down off of that ball joint. We won't see if there's any movement. And let me do that. And right now, I don't have any movement, which is good. Alright, now this is where the block of wood and the pipe comes in. We'll set that up like that, and we'll put the pipe up on top of it, and we'll set it like that. Now, the idea is to get that pipe below that control arm, because we want to push back up on that lower ball joint and see if it moves. So now what I'm going to have to do is set the camera down, and hopefully it stays in focus, and you can watch me as I do this, and we'll see if it works. All right. Okay, looks like I'm in pretty good shape. I couldn't get it to move or anything. That is certainly some good news. So that means that my lower ball joint is in pretty decent shape. Now, one discouraging thing here is the boot is torn right there. So that means the life of the ball joint is probably not going to last much longer, because water and grease can get in there and kind of ruin it, so I have to keep my eye on it. If you're going to do this, just make sure you have a decent jack and jack your car up. Don't crawl under it or anything. If you got some blocks, that would be nice to put up under it. But like I said, I have a pretty old jack, and I didn't have to crawl up under my car. And if it helps a little bit, turn your steering wheel and move this rotor where you can actually get in there to see that and check your bolt. Sometimes it's hard to figure out if it's your tie rod end, inner tie rod end, lower ball joint, and some cars even have upper ball joints. It's really hard to diagnose the issue, but this is probably the easiest, best way to do it. And also the hammer. You can go under here and tap this a little bit and see if it moves around. Make sure you wear some protective glasses, and if there's an issue, if it's really bad, you might be able to see it move, but probably more than likely not. But the big thing is you need a couple pry bars to work at the lower control arm up and down a little bit to see if it's actually bad. So that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and end the video, and hopefully this helped a lot of you guys out, especially you younger kids that are buying your car for the first time. I know sometimes it can be discouraging putting money into a car, but this is one way you can figure out what part is actually bad before you start dumping a lot of money into your car. So that's it. Be careful. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. So talk to you all later.